Hey everyone, this is your girl SolieSims and welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to a brand new video on my channel. Once again, I'm going to apologize for the noise in the background, whatever you hear. It's a hot day, windows are open, etc. If you are brand new to my channel, welcome to it, and if you're returning, welcome back. It's always good to have you here once again. I recently got the not the newest pack. I shouldn't say that because it's since been updated. So I recently got the expansion pack for the horses, and I've never built in the world. I have been using some of the items along with some of the other pack items that I already have. One of the things I would do admire, and I will say it up front about some other YouTubers that I usually watch, they can tell you exactly what items they got from what pack, etc. I don't know if they stop during the video for them to take a look. I don't know what it is, or if they just know where the items come from. I have not a clue. I don't have any idea where most of the things come from. I know what I know for this one is that I took a lot of things from the cats and dogs expansion and I put it on a side because I felt like I wanted to use a lot of these items, and then I tried to match some of the terrain items from the environment around this space. I kind of really wanted to make this house white, but I felt like it gave off a beach house vibe, but that's not what I was going for. I wanted this to look like a little weathered down cabin in whatever ridge this is. Oh my gosh, I've forgotten the name of the town in the horse ranch thing. um i'm not I'm not a player of the game. I'm a horrible person to try to remember names and stuff like that. But anyway, I do change the color of the house itself changes a lot. What I did end up deciding on, however, is a darker wooden tone outside and a whitewashed appearance on the inside. And the whitewashed appearance literally doesn't come until the end of the video because I felt like it was starting to get too dark. Initially, when I was building this, I kind of wanted it to be for a single sim. I was thinking either a lone gentleman who's lost his family and has just let the yard go to the pots, or maybe a widowed woman who is living here on her own, but again, older persons. I'm thinking elders, etc. And yeah, and she's living here without her husband. But then I ended up doing 2 bedrooms, and whilst after I did the master bedroom, well, a master in quotes really, because it's such a simple room. I decided I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do for the second bedroom, and I felt like I wanted it to have multiple beds. It's a long space. In the end, I ended up with 3 beds in that 1 bedroom, and I figured it was a teen boy and twin twin boys that the couple had maybe late on in their life. So maybe I think they're just at the last stages of adulthood, entering into elder stages, and so they have this teen boy and 2 young children that they have to help raise. This family is not very well off. The house is not like it's not really the really best, and it's not up to date, etc. They don't have all the modern amenities that most other families probably have, and they're out in the middle of nowhere almost. And that's the story that I was going for. I actually thought maybe the young boy, the teen boy, can eventually get into sports. I think he's probably just entering, like he's maybe, let's say 14, 15, and he's kind of entering into sports, and he's leaning towards, I would say, maybe baseball and stuff. But then he does have to get a job as well to help his parents around the house, and I'm thinking he's probably going to start working as a ranch hand on one of the more popular ranches in this world. Again, this is just stories that I've made up. I don't have any of these things like set in stone or anything like that. It's just the story that came about only after I had already built everything and I was just doing the children's bedroom, what I decided then to be the children's bedroom. Um, this build was very troublesome for me simply because I did not know what I wanted to do. I at the end, I'm not 100% satisfied with how this turned out, but I wanted to put something out, and I've been working on this for like what almost 3 weeks. Not that it was just that time consuming. It's just that I started school again, so I had lots of different things working on. I have lots of assignments, and believe me, when you're doing a subject that you absolutely don't like and it's boring as hell for you, you have to try to pay attention to what it is that you're doing so you don't mess up and stuff. So I what I was doing with this build a lot, and if you've been following for a while, you notice that a lot of my builds, I've been doing this a lot as well, is that I put out a whole bunch of things that I want to use or I think that might go well, and I then compile everything together. Some of them I don't always keep because I don't like how it ended up looking, etc. But yeah, for something like this, I ended up going with that. As you can see, I only have 2 chairs. That just corroborates my story, right? That I had no idea that I was going to be putting children in this build. I had no intention of it at all, and I didn't even think it didn't occur to me to change the seating afterwards, to include another 3 chairs. So it's still at the end of this build only 2 chairs here. So I imagine that they don't always have time for them to eat together, etc. So I don't know, guys, you're gonna have to forgive me a lot in this video if you do stick around to watch it and you let me know what you think about it. I changed around the layout a bit as well. At first I wanted like this open plan, kind of where it just flows straight from the living room into the kitchen, but then I felt like I needed it to be separate spaces because it was just a little bit too open. So I switched the layout a little bit and I included a wall eventually. I put the fireplace more as the central lies area, and I put the chairs etc. around it. I play around with it a lot actually, and yeah, so I moved the table that I had, the console table that I had under the window, and I put it on the other side instead. And eventually I do put in the wall and I just do an arch instead to lead into the kitchen area. And again, I didn't make any adjustments to the layout and the design that I did downstairs when after I decided to bring children into this build, because I honestly I forgot that, but I think that at the end it kind of worked out. What I did do downstairs to kind of incorporate or make it feel like there's a child, I imagine that the father likes to play guitar, or like the male elder likes to play guitar, so he has his guitar next to the fridge, not next to the fridge, next to the fireplace. So he plays his guitar, etc., sometimes out on the rocking chair or in the front of the house on the porch, and one of his sons plays violin. So I did put a child's violin downstairs leaning against one of the tables downstairs. So I imagine that the two of them together, they make some beautiful music, and maybe the mother sings, or she sings with one of the other boys or something like that. And I imagine that at least one of the children have absolutely no interest in this type of living and just being out in this rural area, and they just dream of going off and making something more of themselves, and just having a better life than they have currently. It's not that they're struggling, but it's also not that they're not, if that makes sense. By the time I got upstairs to the bedrooms, I'm gonna tell you, I was so over with this house. I know it's not the best thing to say. It's not the best thing to say, but I was so over it simply because I felt lost. I felt like the zeal that I had when I started it a few weeks ago is not the what carried on into like 3 weeks later. It's not the same feel that I had, like the excitement that I had to do the build. And I had plans of like fully fully cluttering it up, and this is not something that I do either, just cluttering up bills, etc. But this is not something that I normally do, but that was the intention that I had for this build, and I did not do it. I feel like the bedroom is one of the most uncluttered, simplest bedrooms that I've ever done, and I'm kind of okay with it, although I do feel like it feels a little bit empty, but I'm kind of okay with it because I figure they don't have much stuff anyway. I don't imagine that they would be fully stocked up on lots of things, like lots of clutter, etc. in the bedroom. I think the mom kind of likes knitting because I put in some knitting things downstairs for her. And well, the dad is a card table as well, so I imagine the dad plays cards with either one of his sons or whenever a friend comes over to visit. So that's downstairs in the balcony, in the front balcony. And the mom is what I think she does crotch stitch as well. So I put some stuff up in in the build, showing that interest. For the boys' room, I did a bunk bed, and I did a single bed for a single sim, which is the young teen, and I made the room just a little bit messy, so it's a little bit cluttered. It's not cluttered. I don't want to say cluttered because it's not. It's just a little bit messy, and I think just a little bit in keeping that there are 3 boys occupying this small space, and you can imagine the type of uproar and the cramped feel and the frustration, the annoyance, the arguments that happen inside of this space. So I think they're probably a little bit rowdy as well, but they get along well enough. They do their chores, etc. I also put out a chicken coop. So I guess the mom or whoever does the chicken coop, and there is either a gardening table it was, or flower arranging table. I can't remember which one it was. I put it outside on the side porch, next to the side porch. So I imagine that's where the mom does work as well. So maybe she freelances doing that, selling her own little things, etc. I also using the tool mod, I put a well just off of the lot itself, and I did put a fire, not a fire pit, yeah, like a campfire, and a couple of chairs just a little bit lower down. I did take pictures, so you will see at the end what it all looks like put together. I did, as usual, as I normally do some small cluttering in the kitchen in particular, showing just what I did, like in terms of adding a few little things, bits and pieces here and there, just to make it feel a little bit fuller and a little bit more lived in, but mostly just comfortable and empty. And I think probably I could have made the downstairs just a little bit more busy and a little bit messy, but I think it works out in the end. It works out in the end. I did take out that radio as well in the children's room. I should have possibly kept it there, but I didn't, and I have no idea why. I can't even remember half of why I did the things that I did whilst I was doing this. So we're coming close to the end of the video. We're coming close to me sharing some of the pictures, and I think the pictures show a better story than I would say. And I would love to know if this is a house that you guys would play in, if this storyline is something that you would enjoy and actually play upon. And I'm curious too to what other types of story, or how you can expand on the story of the people who live here. So I do hope you enjoy this video, if you've stuck around all the way to the end with me. And I thank you for sticking around for so long. And I will see you in the next video. Be sure to enjoy the photos. And if you haven't commented, liked, and subscribed as yet, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and do it now. And I'll see you again, guys. Goodbye.